Hi, I'm Bybreen and welcome back to another episode of Soul Stirring Astrology, where I give you my textured take on the world of astrology. So this week, the major aspect that's taking place is this new moon, which is showing up in Sagittarius. And wherever we have a new moon, that means that the moon is conjunct the sun. And it's in this very confident and powerful journey this month because it's in Sagittarius. And so Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so that's about personal philosophy, risk-taking, abundance, having a very positive outlook on life, being very empowering, looking at your belief systems. And then it's here with the new moon, and so that means, you know, looking at your feelings and your emotions, and when you bring all of that together, it's a really great time for you to step forward and to, you know, pursue that dream that you've been nursing in your heart, to start that new business or initiate something that's very meaningful to you. It's really being positively supported because, as I said, it's taking place in Sagittarius. It's also been supported because we've got Saturn here, and Saturn is equally in Sagittarius and will be there for at least the next 2 years. So Saturn will give you the groundedness, the seriousness, the focus in terms of you to pursue what it is that you're really interested in. It's a really positive energy, and here again, your dreams and your desires and goals can be manifested because we have here Mercury, which is changing signs on December the 10th, and it's moving into Capricorn. And so Capricorn is then again, it's ruled by Saturn, so it gives that seriousness, it gives form and structure to your ambition, to your goals. And actually Mercury is going to be here until Valentine's Day 2016, which is great because for the next 2 months, as we close out 2015 and move into 2016, this is a really positive aspect because it's that time of the year whereby we wave goodbye to the old year and welcome in the new year. It's the time for plans and implementing the plans and thinking through exactly what it is that you want to do. It's one of my favourite times of the year. In fact, New Year's Eve is the perfect day for me around all of this. So it's great. It's a symbolism, the mythology around it is for you to, you know, go for what it is that you truly desire and believe in. It can happen. Now, having said all of that, as always with wonderful astrology, there's something else that will bring another texture to it. And so here we've got the moon, and the moon here is squaring Jupiter. And where you've got the moon square Jupiter, it's a tension point. And so you need to be mindful of the maxim of, you know, over-promising and under-delivering. Because we've got Jupiter here, it's about expansiveness, it's about exaggeration, and you want to be mindful that you're not coming across in that way, thinking that nothing can burst your bubble. So just be mindful in terms of how you're showing up in the world. Also, where you've got this dynamic of the moon and Jupiter, so it's a transit that's taking place in the skies, but you also might have it reflected in your natal chart. And here it might actually reawaken feelings of how you may have been undernourished or undernurtured or undersupported within your childhood environment. It's that whole thing about nurturing. And so because the transit that's taking place might illuminate that place for you. You may be somebody who shows up as somebody who's very giving and supportive, being like the superhero or the super dad or the super mum to everybody else, and that makes you feel great. But there's a part of you that may be doing this in order for this sense of reciprocity. So by you giving out in this way, other people will give to you in this way. And as a result of this, you are then able to fill that void, that emotional void that you're seeking still to be nurtured and sustained in some way. And so where you've got this transit taking place, it's an indication as to, instead of projecting that need onto other people, projecting that responsibility, here, use Mercury in Capricorn to be thinking through, actually, how can you give that to yourself? How can you self-nurture? How can you self-sustain and self-feed? And so when you're filling yourself from the inside, once that's been satisfied, then you're able to give in a way There's no reciprocity that you're looking for. There's no attachment to how you give. You give because you genuinely want to give. And because you're dealing with Jupiter, it's about giving in a very generous way. Also, where we've got this Moon and Jupiter, it's about emotional exaggeration or emotional expansion. Now, we're seeing this played out in terms of the comments that Donald Trump has made this week. You know, the outrageous comments of wanting to ban all Muslims from entering America. So this is a sense of a personal philosophy that is not working out for him because there's a backlash, and rightfully so there's a backlash. And so, for example, here in the UK, there's a petition that's been circulated, and up to over the last couple of days, it's generated about 500,000 signatures. And the petition is about banning or preventing Donald Trump from entering the UK to spread this negative point of view. And so it's played out here. So we've got the Moon, which is about people's feelings being stirred up. We've got Jupiter here, and Jupiter is about travel and expansion and expounding on views and philosophies. And it's a square, so it's a block. So this is an indication that Donald Trump's intentions to come to the UK could be blocked because of the backlash that is now gathering pace. Also, what we're seeing played out this week is Jupiter again. So we have Jupiter here, and Jupiter is this time opposing Chiron. And Chiron is here in Pisces, whereas Jupiter is here in Virgo. So when we're dealing with Chiron, we're dealing with the wounded healer, and so the wound is so expanded, the wound is seeping, and so what you're seeking to do here is to bridge that gap, because if you don't bridge that gap between your wound and how you want to be seen in the world, you could come across as being lacking humanity. I mean, it could be an indication of what's speaking actually to the actions and the sentiments that Donald Trump is sharing with the world. It's that whole sense of lack of humanity. And the tension point here is because there could be this sense of a lack of having your own personal philosophy and identity that you want to positively project into the world. And where you've got this lack, or where you've got this confusion, that's where the chasm opens up between the wound and the reality of this new vision you're trying to bring about. So where you've got Jupiter that's opposing Chiron, it's time for you to heal those wounds, because the tension is you want to be part of the collective, but you also want to stand for something positively. And so what it's inviting you to do is to really think about how it is you're actually showing up in the world. This is also being supported because we've got the Chiron here in Pisces, and Pisces is about the collective. Pisces is about having humanity. We're all part of this human family, and everybody has the right to show up and participate positively within it. Also, we've got Jupiter again. So we've got Jupiter, and Jupiter this time is making a conjunction to the North Node, which is in, there again, it's in Virgo. And so where you've got a conjunction of the North Node and Jupiter, here there's a sense of, you know, just going with the flow, or just following public opinion for the sake of following public opinion. And I suppose what's showing up in terms of all of the aspects this week is about bringing your sense of the critical eye, allowing this North Node and Jupiter to enable you to think through constructively and to be of service to yourself and to others, because it's in Virgo. And so that you're not just going with the flow. There is a sense that's required of that, but you're also showing up as an individual that's wanting to contribute in a very healthy way in terms of how you're giving to yourself and also how you're giving to society. So they're the major aspects that's taking place this week. So it's great. We've got this new moon for the next 29 and a half days for you to go out there, launch yourself very confidently, but just bringing more consciousness in terms of how you're showing up in the world. So the quote I want to leave you with this week is from Audre Lorde. And what she says is that our feelings are a clear direction and path to our own sense of knowledge. and which is a wonderful quote because we've got feelings, which is defined here by the moon, and we've got Jupiter, which is about knowledge and wisdom and intuition and insight. And so bringing those two concepts together, which signifies this new moon that's taking place in Jupiter, it's about, you know, our feelings, honouring our feelings and marrying those feelings in terms of gaining the wisdom from them, and so therefore we're able to advance more positively in the world. So that's it for this week, short and sweet. If you enjoyed the episode, feel free to share your comments in the comment box below. If you've got any takeaways, pop them in the comment box below, and feel free to share it with your network or subscribe to the channel or to like the video. So until then, have a fantastic week exploring yourself, because we've got Jupiter, which is the explorer, exploring your emotions, but really going for it. It's a great time for you to implement those dreams that reside deeply in your heart. And until then, I shall see you again next week. Bye for now.